I recently have been asked questions about the legends of Bigfoot and whether there is any validity to him and what is he. Well, surprisingly enough, as many legends as I've researched, the subject of Bigfoot has come up rather less than one would suspect. However, while researching the fate of the Lemurian Greys colony, I did happen across some side notes of the species in which Bigfoot came from. As suspected, he is not of our world, nor is he from space. He's from under it. The flat earth believers have some misaligned understandings of things, however their hollow earth theory is partially correct. The core of our planet is not hollow, however there are a network of subterranean caverns, especially around the regions of the Pegasi Mountains, in or around the regions of Romania, Syria, Iran and Afghanistan, that have reported a large network of cavern tunnels that stretch from Syria all the way to Egypt and even down into Iraq. There have been military reports of encounters with large Neanderthalic-like creatures with red hair and massive in size. So let me go into the origins of what made this all possible. We go back to at least 50,000 years ago, maybe more. Mankind was scarce upon the surface due to the eruption of a supervolcano in Indonesia that triggered a chain reaction in the Ring of Fire volcanic chain. All 9 of the volcanoes in that region erupted simultaneously for 4 months straight. They were above sea level then, but the constant eruptions afterward collapsed the volcanic calderas into the ocean. This event covered the skies with ash, ushering in an age of darkness. It took 1,000 years for the skies to clear and drove what remained of the Neanderthal species and Homo sapien into the mountain caverns and subterranean tunnels. Surviving off of purified air through steam they created by pouring water into natural hot springs near the cavern's surface. This would rid the air of the poisonous qualities by boiling the water and circumventing the air into the deeper caverns, providing fresh breathable air. Archaeologists have found evidence of many cities under the surface of the earth. Life, however, in the caverns had adverse effects on many of these creatures. Without the light from the sun or harsh weather conditions we experience here on the surface, they did not evolve the same as we are today, many of them not evolving at all due to the lack of meat diets that caused us to evolve with one major quality that makes us different than any other species on the planet, and it's what also makes us the dominant species as well: our thumbs. Our physical evolution of our thumbs has allowed us to develop weapons for more effective hunting and tools that allowed us to build the structures and cities that led to the social society we are today. The iron and potassium from our hunting skills allowed our brains to develop into what it is today, providing sentient thoughts, philosophy, agriculture and communication skills to lead us into the dominant place we hold upon this world. In the subterranean environment, however, things evolved differently. Generation after generation living away from these things that made us what we're today caused evolution to come to a halt. Once it was established that it was safe to return to the surface and the air had cleared, not everyone wanted to return. Many stayed beneath the surface and continued living there. The tale of the 7 tribes of Aztlan is tied to this point on time, for it was a part of their plan to retreat into the subterranean caverns after leaving their homeland during their great migrational journey. Then about 50,000 years ago, somewhere between 10 to 15,000 years after the eruption event, catastrophe struck again as a series of asteroids struck in 3 places at once. One landed near India, another landed off the coast of Africa, and the third struck near the Caribbean islands. These asteroids on impact caused a massive tidal surge that swept at least 150 miles inland around the coast of Africa, and it had another adverse effect that I believe may be the catalyst that has caused our current crisis of the coronavirus pandemic to escalate to the uncontrollable levels that it has. Microbacteria particles that had been embedded in the asteroids were released into our atmosphere, causing a mutation of some elements that were already present in the atmosphere. It became especially deadly near the impact area of the Caribbean and wiped out the people who lived in the city of the Monkey King. I hear radioactive material from the impact is still present heavily on the island. The flesh-eating bacteria came from this region, brought here by explorers a while back. This is an example of what I'm talking about when I say it mutated elements within our air. Here recently there was an asteroid that disintegrated before impact over South America. Since then I have noticed there was a strange new element within the air making it difficult to breathe for a while. Assuming I'm correct, that asteroid brought with it new microbacteria into our atmosphere which quickly spread all over the world. It remains dormant and unnoticed until the outbreak in China. Once it came in contact with the bacteria there, it caused a massive cellular reaction that quickly mutated it into the pandemic we are now facing, and possibly is still mutating it even now. A theory worth looking into. Anyways, this once again almost wiped out life on the surface then, but the subterranean environment survived, and as I understand it still survives to this day. It may be that the Bigfoot creature that we have encountered is a part of this unevolved species of Neanderthal who have deemed us too destructive to have contact with, so when they have an individual who violates their law he is exiled to the surface. Many archaeologists are curious about the sudden evolutionary leap between the Neanderthal and the current Homo sapiens species we are today. I believe that the microbacteria may have been responsible for the accelerated evolutionary process, but that is my speculation. However, under the microscope it could be detected whether there is evidence of irradiated bacteria that may have accelerated the bone structure's development and other leaps of genetic development that are still unanswered.